What are you... Oh my gosh. What is this kid? Hey man, what are you doing to that kick there? Hey. You need some help? Looks to me like you could use some help compressing that kick, huh? Okay, well, you're in luck, because I got a super easy way to show you how to dial in those settings for a fat and punchy kick. You interested? All right, check this out. Greetings, aliens. This is TJ, and you're watching Studio Sessions with Astronoize. Today, we will be discussing the infamous topic of how to compress a kick drum. So, in electronic music, your kick, for the most part, is not going to be from a live source, so some would say it's not necessary, but I'll show you in this instance where it is. So yeah, I don't want to bore you with too much details. Let's just jump right into this, and I'm going to turn off the compression. And for this example, I kind of wanted a few things other than the kick, because when you're dialing in compression, you want to feel the groove of the track and the BPM and some other elements that go along with the rhythm of it. But let's just take a quick listen to this little groove that I got going here first. Right, pretty nice and groovy, pretty well balanced, but as you can tell, the kick is there, but it's not as punchy and as fat and as up in your face as you would like it to be for certain types of dance, electronic, techno, house, all that kind of stuff, because the kick's pretty important in those genres. So I would argue that this kick drum needs to be compressed. And so compression, again, is just, I have a video on it. I'll link it in the description. You can take a look and dive a little bit deeper and learn a little bit more about compression. But compression just basically evens out the dynamics. It evens out the loudest parts and the quietest parts, kind of squashes them together so it's a more even tone. And that gives you overall a more present, more punchy, more fat sound. Which in this case could be desirable. So I've already got a compressor, and this is just a stock Pro Tools plugin that comes with the compressor. So I'm not using anything fancy, any third-party stuff. So your DAW's stock plugin compression will probably do the trick just fine. I'm sure it has all these knobs and buttons on it. So I already got it dialed in, like I said, and I'm going to bypass and let you listen to. First I'll leave it bypass so it's not working, and then after 4 downbeats I'll unbypass it, and you can listen to the difference of what these settings have, and then real quickly I'll run through and dial them in with you and show you what I did and how I actually compressed this kick. So let's take a listen to this real quick. Right? So it's kind of a subtle difference, but to me, if you're asking me, you might need to be listening off some good monitors or headphones to hear this difference. To me, it brings the kick up. It's a little more present. Let's listen in solo with it first bypassed, and I'll do the same thing. I'll unbypass it. I said after 4 beats, but after 2 bars, basically 8 down beats of the kick. So let's take a listen to this now. Just the kick soloed. Right, so with this soloed, you can hear it a little bit more. You can hear the effect of the compression a little bit more. And I have a meter here that can show you, it's gonna show you the output of the level of the kick and show you that the output is not actually changing. So I'm not actually making the kick louder. It actually is just compressing it, and it's making it more fatter, a more even tone, and more up in your face. So take a look at the readout on here, and it should stay the same. The needle should stay in the same place, whether it's bypassed or unbypassed. Right, so that's proof right there. And this is the first plugin on my master, so none of these EQ or limiter are affecting that. So yeah, that's proof right there that I'm not actually giving it more gain. So some people might say, oh, just give it more gain. But then when it comes to the mix phase and when you actually do your limiting at the end on the master, that's going to create issues. You don't always just want to turn something up. Sometimes you want to even out dynamics and to make a sound more present. So anyways, let's dive in and let's look at how to adjust all of these settings here. I'll go ahead and let's just start with a factory default. So all the settings are completely fresh on this compressor now. So first thing I like to do is I like to take the attack and the release, smack it all the way down as fast as each one of them will go. Like this would be slow, 4 seconds. This is as fast. And again, that would be as slow as the attack goes. And I want both of these set to as fast as it'll go. Crank that ratio up so it's as much as it'll go, 100-to-1 ratio. That's absolutely squashing it. And you want to make sure your knee, see this little graph representation, is not rounded. You want a very hard knee. You want a very abrupt compression. So this is really going to be how you hear the compression. And this is my little tip, my little trick to actually hearing it and dialing it in. We'll worry about the gain later. So let's just play actually this kick soloed, and the threshold all the way up means it's not going to, you're not going to hear any compression at all until I start to dial this back and we start to just start to clip the edges of the top of the volume of this kick. So let's play the kick and I'll dial in the threshold and you can actually hear this compression. It's going to sound really bad because it's squashed. The attack and release are way off, but I'll show you how to dial that in. Let's just first mess with the threshold and listen to what it's doing. Right, so this is absolutely squashed. So first thing I like to do is I like to adjust the attack of this. So let's take a listen to this. This is the fastest attack it'll go. Now that means the compressor is going to work as fast as this particular one possibly can. Other compressors are going to have different time units that they can go as fast as or as slow as, but this one is 10 US. I'm not even sure what that is, but let's start at this fastest one. I'll dial it back and you can hear the transient of the kick start to pop through as I slow it down, because that means this compressor is engaging in slower as I dial this back. So it's starting off with this number. Someone let me know what that is. I'll look it up and we'll put it on the screen here. But as I dial it back, it switches to milliseconds, and then, you know, the further I go, it gets longer and longer. So let's take a listen to what that actually does. Cool, so as you hear, as I dial it back, the transient of the kick pops through, that punch, that initial attack, that clickiness of the kick, the presence of that kick that you desperately want in a kick drum for it to be up front. It starts to poke around like 10 milliseconds is when it really starts to like punch through. So let's dial that back just a little bit more, because I don't want it to just be a punchy kick. I want it to be a fat, a round kick, and I want it to have some weight to it as well. So 10 milliseconds might be a little slow, but let's adjust it accordingly. I think right around there, around 25 milliseconds is when it's letting that transient come through and just gradually easing in and applying a good amount of compression. So next, the release. What I'm gonna do with the release is I'm actually gonna back the ratio down now. Not down to a normal level, but just down a little bit. And we're gonna adjust this according to the groove of the track. So the release, I don't like to adjust in solo mode, because the release of the kick, you kind of want it to, in essence, groove with the song. So that's going to be something you dial into the taste of the BPM of the track that you're working on. So let's unsolo this kick right here. Let's start with it as fast as it'll go. I'll slowly add in some more release, and let's listen to what it does. As you can hear, whenever the release is too fast, it's not compressing enough of the kick, therefore it's letting go of the compression too soon, and that's just giving an undesirable effect. What I want this to do is ideally, let's zoom in on this first kick right here. So let's put this in quarter notes. Ideally, you want this compression to start initially as quick as, as it'll let that transient through, the compression starts in, and then you want it to kind of tail off with the tail of the kick actually, to kind of groove with the bass line, which I have here, and the rest of the elements of the track. So as you can hear with the really fast release, that's not giving a very good desired groove, so let's adjust it a little bit more accordingly. And I'm gonna adjust this gain up just a little bit so we can hear that kick a little bit more prominent as we adjust the release. So right there around 200 milliseconds is what I feel is giving a good flow and a good pump effect on that compression of the kick. And it's actually, if you really pay attention to compression and train your ears to listen to this, you can actually hear like the sucking of the compression and the groove and the thump, and it's just really making that kick just punch on those downbeats and just really kind of grooving in and out through the bass and all the elements of the track. So I think that's setting at a good attack and release setting right there. So let's back down this ratio to something a little bit more reasonable, like a 6-to-1 ratio. And then from this point, I think we have our threshold set to a good level here, because you want it to get, in general, about -3 decibels of gain reduction. Or less. You don't typically want to compress too much more. If you do, maybe you need to start with a better source, because if your dynamics are that far out of range and it's not something that you've recorded yourself, adjust the sample. Just add some layers of some maybe top kicks on top of that, and just make your source sample sound a little bit better. And because over -3 decibels of gain reduction is too much. So again, threshold set to just -3, to where we're achieving -3 decibels of gain reduction. That's sounding good. So the last step in this process is something that I like to do with this meter, and this is a free one. I'll link it in the description box below. Let's bypass this. What I want to do is I want to match the gain of the kick without the compression on, because I had it balanced, I had the mix balanced, and I don't want to add any more gain. I want the same amount of gain from this kick in the same balance. So let's adjust this gain of the output on the compression to match what it was doing before. So let's check out before. Right there, it's showing -2.9, so let's unbypass this compression and show what it's doing afterwards. So -3.7, we need to adjust this gain up a little bit to match -2.9. Let's do it. Look at that right off the bat. So here's our compression settings. Again, let's listen to it unbypassed, and then we'll kick in these compression settings we just dialed in. And again, there's no other plugins. This is literally just compression. Let's take a listen. Maybe turn up your headphones just a little bit, your monitors just a little bit. Really listen and try to intently listen to what this is actually putting besides gain into, like it's adding to the kick. It's not just turning the kick up. So let's check this out. Unbypass first, then I will kick it in. Or bypass first, then I'll kick it in. Excuse me there. Right, so let's do it again with everything playing. We'll bypass it first and then kick it in. What's up guys, TJ here. So again, I just want to say a big thank you for checking out our YouTube videos. It really means a lot. You know, both Nick and I put a lot of work into the different types of videos we do. So thank you for checking them out. Thank you for watching. And I just want to remind you to, if you found any enjoyment out of this particular video, go ahead and hit like. It really means a lot to us. It helps us out, helps our videos get seen by other people who are like-minded and might like it as well. I just want to go ahead and remind you also to subscribe and hit the little bell notification icon. That way you just get reminded and updated every time we release a new video, some new content, new goodies for you guys to check out. And yeah, also don't hesitate to drop a comment below. We will read all of them, try to respond to everything in a timely manner. And yeah, if you have any questions or concerns, drop it in the comment box to this video, or you can find us on social media at Astronoize Music. But yeah, we'll try to respond to everything. So until next time, guys, make some music. Peace.